Tonight, the post-mortem results are in for Augustine Plummer, and police are delving deeper into the case. Former cultural attaché Shazi Shalon laments the dismal numbers at this year's Mercury Fest.
We had a disappointing arrival of less than 500 persons coming in this year for the festival.
And the former St. Lucian High Commissioner to the UK analyzes what the election of Boris Johnson as UK Prime Minister might mean for the region, given his commitment to Brexit. The details of these stories and more are coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Joseph.
Good night. It is Wednesday, the 24th of July, 2019. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. We're on Flow, channel 117, also being simulcast on Kiss FM 105.5 and 105.9. You can also watch on our website. It's www.caribbeanhottv.com, on our free Caribbean Hot FM mobile app, or on our Facebook page, Caribbean Hot TV. I'm lovely St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. The post-mortem results are in for Augustine Plummer, a resident of BZ, whose body was discovered on Sunday, the 21st of July at Malabar Beach with marks of violence about the body. Police say following the results, they are not ruling out any possibilities when it comes to what led to the death of the 64-year-old. Solange Alfred begins our reporting.
A post-mortem examination has been carried out on the body of Augustine Plummer, whose unresponsive body was discovered at Malabar Beach on July 21, 2019. Acting Corporal in the Press Relations Office of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, Anne Joseph, provides a breakdown of the findings.
A post-mortem examination has been conducted on the body of Augustine Plummer, a 64-year-old resident of BZ Castries, and the cause of death has been determined to be asphyxia secondary to drowning due to an incised wound to the neck.
Joseph says a definitive ruling of the death as a homicide cannot yet be determined.
So there was a wound found to the neck of Mr. Plummer, and as a result of that wound, water apparently got into his respiratory system and he drowned as a consequence. We can't definitively rule out anything as yet. The investigation is ongoing at a time where we can determine what caused the wound, because he did have a wound. We don't know yet whether it was self-inflicted or inflicted by another person, whether it was an object or a weapon, but we can see that there was a wound to his neck, and obviously for now we're treating it as a suspicious death.
The 64-year-old was said to have been an avid fisherman. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
Former cultural attaché to the consular office in Martinique, Shazi Shalon, says the dwindling numbers of French visitors coming to St. Lucia's hot summer event, Mercury Fest, is a major cause for concern. He says the event, which was once dominated by visiting French nationals, was this year relished by a small crowd of St. Lucians with just a sprinkle of French support.
According to the former cultural attaché to the consular office in Martinique, Shazi Shalon, the 2019 edition of Mercury Fest was plagued by mediocre promotion within French territories and substandard organization. Shalon says in the past, the event enticed over 6,000 French partygoers to visit St. Lucia's shores, but the French presence for Mercury Fest 2019, he says, was disgraceful.
Very, very disappointing from the point of entry at the marina, for example, where most of the patrons to the Mercury Fest or Mercury Beach Original came through actually. We had a disappointing arrival of less than 500 persons coming in this year for the festival. As I said, very disappointing due to the fact that the last event of the original Mercury Beach, we saw over 6,000 arrivals. This year, from what has been seen, you had a majority St. Lucian population at the event. I believe it was very poorly executed, very poorly promoted in Martinique as well.
Additionally, Chalon pointed out the economic benefit enjoyed by locals from the onslaught of wealthy subscribers of the event was not the case this time around.
The main factor is being ignored, the fact that the originator of the Mercury Beach is someone who created the event. He brought the event to our shores. It is something that was meticulously put together, and he has a following as well that you cannot ignore. And also what we saw also was the demographics of the persons that came this time around as opposed to the original event. You saw people of a more affluent, or people of more affluence that came in the original Mercury Beach, and followed by the free events that were done by the originator, with Jill. You saw, as I said, people of more affluence who were able to spend more in the economy. Our last evaluation showed that over $7 million was pumped into the economy within those 3 days. And I know we didn't even come close to that this year, or for the last 2 years, for example.
How can St. Lucia's version of Mercury Fest be improved? Chalon says upgrading can only come after discussion with the pioneers of the authentic Mercury Beach.
In fact, I must say too that the original event will be held in Martinique this weekend. And the way forward is to negotiate with the originators of the event. That's the way forward I see. As I said, they have a command of the event. They have the air of the persons who come to that event. As I said, the affluent folks who come to that event are loyal to them as well. So there are a myriad of factors that is working in the interest of the original event.
Mercury Fest 2019 was sponsored by Events St. Lucia with a hope to increase economic activity as well as bolster the connection between St. Lucia and its French allies. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
In other news, consumers are being armed with information and are being urged to make reports about unlawful business practices to the Consumer Affairs Department. Retail stores that put up notices of no exchange or no refund are directly contravening the law. Consumers do have options for redress under the law.
The no exchange, no refund policy practiced by local businesses has raised consumer concerns. These concerns include the approach leading to unfair treatment of the consumer. Information Officer at the Consumer Affairs Department, Militia Williams-Davy, says the no exchange, no refund policy used at a business is inappropriate.
It is improper for a business place to have a no exchange, no refund policy, as this is in direct contravention with the Consumer Protection Act number 9 of 2016. This act has been passed and it will be in effect soon. In fact, these signs should not be used to determine whether a consumer receives a refund or an exchange for a defective good.
Consumers should also be aware that a business place is not obligated to provide a refund or an exchange to customers who do not have a legitimate complaint.
A consumer only has the right to redress once he or she has a legitimate complaint. That is, if the good is defective, described inaccurately, or if the good fails to serve its intended purpose. A consumer who has such complaint is entitled to one of the 4 forms of redress, and that is either a repair, exchange, refund, or a credit note.
Customers who are seeking redress should always return to the place of business with a receipt as soon as a problem is discovered. If the matter is not resolved, then the customer can contact the Consumer Affairs Department at the Ministry of Commerce, International Trade, Investment, Enterprise Development, and Consumer Affairs. I am Marvin St. Louis reporting.
You're watching the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. When we return, a former St. Lucian High Commissioner to the UK analyzes what the election of Boris Johnson in the UK might mean for the region. And St. Lucia's Carnival still needs to establish its uniqueness. That's according to one veteran carnival designer. That and more when we return.